The Observatory hoisted the first Amber Rainstorm Warning Signal of the year after intense gusts, hailstorms and heavy rains lashed Hong Kong this afternoon. The SAR's sole representative in the nation's top legislative body calls for Beijing and Shanghai to be included in the expansion of the multiple entry visa scheme. And the number of private car owners in the city applying for permits to drive to the mainland goes beyond 100,000. Good evening. You're now watching Cable News. I'm Cheryl Yun. Sudden downpour hit Hong Kong in the afternoon as the observatory issued its first Amber Rainstorm alert of the year. A construction worker in Tin Shui Wai was rescued from a violently swinging platform as strong gusts and heavy rain whipped the city. Bess Leung reports.
A video posted on social media captures a mid-air window gondola swinging violently in intense winds in Tin Shui Wai, while the worker clings to the railings and ropes amid heavy rain.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Firefighters were dispatched and brought the man who was not injured back to the ground. Tin Shui Wai Sports Center observed another scene of disaster as online footage showed water cascading down from the roof of the building. Even with the weather forecaster issuing early warnings about the downpour, many across the city were caught off guard by the severe squally rainstorms, without umbrellas or raincoats as they rushed for shelter. The alert was issued at 3 p.m. and lasted about 1.5 hours, indicating heavy rain of 30 millimeters an hour had been recorded, mostly in the northern New Territories. Meanwhile, hail was reported at Taipo at around 3:20 p.m. The weather forecaster said a cold front is moving southward towards the coastal areas of southern China, bringing the abrupt showers and thunderstorms. Violent gusts of 110 and 100 kilometers per hour were recorded in Chengchao and Laofushan respectively. Residents are told to brace for a few more showers tomorrow, and that under the influence of a northeast monsoon, it will become cool and windy in the coming 2 days. Bess Leung, Cable News.
In expectation of the multiple entry visa scheme expanding to more mainland cities in the long run, Hong Kong's sole delegate to the National People's Congress Standing Committee, Starry Lee, emphasized the need to make the SAR a hospitable city that provides travelers with good experiences. Evelyn Bai reports.
With the multiple entry visa scheme applicable only to Shenzhen residents currently, Starry Lee stated that the expansion of the scheme depends on the central and SAR governments.
Which city I leave it to the central government and Hong Kong government to work out. I do suggest that Guangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing are some of the consideration.
She noted that Shanghai and Beijing both have larger population and they are farther away from Hong Kong. So tourists from both cities may be willing to make longer stays when they visit Hong Kong. However, Lee said we should not rely on tourism as the main engine of Hong Kong's economic growth. She believes the focus should be on strengthening the city's international image through various sectors.
Apart from the economic, tie with different cities, we have to think about, like for example, other area politically, or make use of culture, sport, education, technology, medicine or medical, all these other areas. We can further develop different ties with different cities in the world.
When asked about which markets could be involved in international cooperation, Lee pointing out that Hong Kong has the edges and potential to deepen international exchanges with ASEAN and the Global South countries, in addition to traditional markets like Europe and the United States. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The number of private car owners who have applied for permits to drive to the mainland has breached the 100,000 milestone since the northbound travel for Hong Kong vehicle scheme began in July 2023. Writing in her blog, Transport Chief Mabel Chen said the scheme has received around 8,000 applications in the first 2 months of the year, pushing the total number to surpass the 100,000 mark, of which 9,600 have already been approved. Chen said the government has been working closely with mainland units to make timely enhancements for the cross-boundary trip arrangements, such as increasing the number of daily applications to 500 to better cater the demand. She added that preparation work is ongoing for the rollout of the southbound travel for Guangdong cars later this year. With the number of disputes over private healthcare service bills on the rise, Chief Executive of the Consumer Council, Jilly Wong, reminded the public that they have the right to request written budget estimates from service providers and suggested comparing prices of different private hospitals. Evelyn Bai reports.
Over the past 4 years, the Consumer Council has received 191 complaints related to private healthcare services provided by private hospitals and day procedure centers, with nearly half of the disputes related to price issues. The total disputed amount exceeded $7.2 million.
香港嘅消費者呢，正如頭先所講呢，真係好信啲醫生嘅。
Taking to the airwaves, Wong noted that consumers in the city place a lot of trust in doctors. According to their consumer research, 70% did not shop around for prices because they trusted what the doctors said and accepted the charges without question. Another reason for not comparing prices is that insurance can cover the costs. Some medical institutions first inquire about patients' insurance coverage and then persuade them to undergo additional procedures, leading to soaring premiums, Wong added.
新加坡咧就直情係將譬如醫療嘅程序咧。
Chairman of the Council's Consumer Protection Policy, Selwyn Yu, suggested the government make reference to other regions, such as Singapore, where each medical procedure is assigned a code. Consumers can easily search the code online to get fee information from different hospitals. He added that this practice can also be used by insurance companies, allowing them to see the medical procedures and costs involved. The Consumer Watchdog advised medical institutions to offer medical packages with written budget estimates, enabling patients to compare expenses before treatment. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Separately, the Consumer Council has received a dozen complaints regarding Deliveroo's exit from Hong Kong, amounting to around $5,000 in disputed charges. With part of its operations set to be taken over by rival Food Panda, the watchdog is calling on the platform to promptly disclose the specifics. Food Panda has earlier offered Deliveroo users 6 months of free membership. Jilly Wong, head of the Consumer Council, expressed concern that some consumers already hold the membership of both platforms, while others are seeking refunds for their Deliveroo subscriptions instead. Wong also emphasized the importance of allowing consumers the choice to opt out of memberships after the complimentary period, noting that Food Panda currently renews memberships automatically. She urged Food Panda to handle personal data responsibly and to announce the details as soon as possible. Thousands of internal documents have been leaked in a cybersecurity breach in Lingnan University's information system, including 200 files containing sensitive personal data. A Lingnan University spokesman said the breach has exposed confidential information of faculty staff, students, and former course applicants, including their names and contact details. Immediate action was taken as the school swiftly deactivated the affected system to prevent further leaks and has notified affected individuals. The spokesperson pledged to ramp up network security measures and issued a formal apology for the security lapse. A dedicated task force has been set up to conduct thorough investigation. Sources say the light public housing at Yau Pok Road in Yuen Long will begin handing out keys to tenants on the 28th of this month. As a short-term solution for those awaiting traditional public units, the Housing Bureau has been reviewing the eligibility of applicants for the light public housing in Yunlong over the past few months. While the Bureau has yet confirmed the exact date, they are expecting a phased move-in within this month. Once residents start moving in, 2 bus routes and a minibus route will begin operations. As for the Choi Hing Road project in Ngau Tau Kok, the eligibility reviews are set to begin by the end of this month, with a gradual move-in scheduled to start in the second quarter. The 2 projects combined offer 4,400 units, with 14,300 applicants vying for a spot. As the diplomatic back and forth to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues, Russian President Vladimir Putin has tightened his grip on the region of Kursk, which is slipping away from Ukraine's control. Sachin Kadvi reports.
For the effective implementation of U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal of a 30-day ceasefire, Putin has called on Ukrainian troops operating in the Russian region of Kursk to lay down their arms and surrender. He guaranteed them life and decent treatment in accordance with international norms and the laws of the Russian Federation. Putin made the remarks after he met with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Moscow earlier this week and said he is giving out due consideration to the request made by Trump to spare the lives of the Ukrainian soldiers.
Right now you have a lot of Ukrainian soldiers that are encircled and in grave danger, and I've asked them not to kill those soldiers, please, not to kill those soldiers. We don't want them killed. It's such a shame to see what's happened.
Calling the discussions with Russia good and productive, Trump said there is a good chance that the war might finally come to an end. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, however, accused Putin of trying to drag the talks to continue the war. Putin has said he agrees with the idea of a ceasefire, which should lead to an enduring peace and remove the root causes of the crisis. Sachin Kadvi, Cable News.
Mark Carney was sworn in as Canada's 24th Prime Minister, replacing outgoing leader Justin Trudeau, who had held office for almost a decade.
I, Mark Carney, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Prime Minister.
As governor of the country's central bank during the 2008 financial crisis, 59-year-old Carney is going to find it more tough to steer Canada as it retaliates against the United States in a trade war triggered by U.S. President Donald Trump. Striking a chord with voters who have displayed a surge in Canadian nationalism, Carney said he is ready to meet Trump only if Washington respects Ottawa's sovereignty.
We understand the importance President Trump places on American workers and American jobs. We want him and his administration to understand the importance we put on Canadian workers and Canadian jobs. And we will look for avenues to work together so that both objectives are met in terms of both our great economies, just as we are doing, and the people behind me have led this, just as we are doing with respect to the scourge of fentanyl. Thank you.
On to the weather now. Overcast with a few showers tomorrow. The minimum temperature will be about 15 degrees. Mainly fine and dry with sunny intervals in the following couple of days. That's our news tonight. I'm Cheryl Yun. Thanks for watching and good night.